Okay, welcome to Black Talk Show. I have Mignon Thomas here, Coach MT. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I know a lot of people already know who you are, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am Coach T, who I am a nurse by trade and a mental health survivor. So I set out every day to make this side of the earth a little bit more understanding and gentle for those of us that struggle with mental health concerns. So how do I do that? By coaching individuals and trying to close the gap in the mental health arena or population.
Okay, I'm just making it public so people can see it. Okay, what is your approach to managing and addressing crisis and urgent care and urgent mental health issues?
So what I have found out that the more that the individual knows about the crisis, the more education that we provide with them actually understanding it, the more apt they are to either getting in and speaking to someone or going in and getting treatment early on. So my whole goal is to prevent the crisis situation, as we do have many people that address crisis, especially 988 that's available 24/7. And then your local ER. So my goal is to meet you where you are and to provide as much education, empathetic listening and understanding and feedback to help you early on so that we can avoid those crises.
Okay. How do you involve family members or someone that may or significant others in treatment process if
So
necessary?
yes, so once me and the clients have got to where we're trusting each other, then because that's really important. I can't help you if you don't trust me. And it becomes evident to me that the family is important on this path. Then I'll ask them if we can invite them into a session. Maybe ask them if I could talk to them without them present, if they're not really quite ready for that conversation. But whenever the client is ready, is really what's best. The only way that I would probably get involved is if, and I tell them straight up, is if there's any information indicating that you're going to harm yourself or someone else. Because my thing is really being there solely empowering the client to let me know when they're ready for that next step. So that's another part of what I do is very different from therapy and less intimidating.
Okay. So how can you help clients build coping skills or resilience to better manage their mental health challenges?
Yes, damn glad you asked that question. So, what I do is I'll go live and I'll share reels. But when I'm working with individuals, it gives me obviously a more personal approach, so we can find a individualized path that's going to help you. Some of the techniques that I use would be CBT, DBT, and I'll elaborate on that on like other reels because it would take too much time. But CBT, that some people might be aware of, is the cognitive behavioral therapy. When you work with a therapist that is specially trained in that area, they can guide you through treatment paths. But the cool thing about CBT is we all can use it, and DBT, even teachers in the classroom use it for children. So, in addition to that, all of my skills and techniques I have acquired for over the years with my background in mental health as a professional and a survivor. So everything is evidence based. I don't play with anything that I know does not work. And people appreciate that. But for the most part, I rely on the things that I know that work. But as I'm getting to know the client, there's a lot of questions that are asked, a lot of conversations that are had. We go back and I focus on the root cause, and that will tell me what we can use to get there.
Okay. Uh, so how do you stay informed about the latest developments and research of mental health field?
So conferences, anytime there's a paid or free conference that specifically, I love to work with people that are struggling with depression and anxiety because it is heavily discredited. And there's a lot of people that struggle with it that don't know. So anytime there's anything going on with that, if I can't be in attendance, I'm going to register so I can get the replay.
Mhm.
um, I read a lot. I will take courses, and then of course I stay in touch and communicate, if not almost daily, with professionals that have even more tools than what I have,
Mhm.
and we stay abreast of the latest techniques and discoveries, and then to listen to fellow peers that are
Mhm.
actually struggling with these mental health conditions.
Mhm.
So I stay informed by staying connected to various sources.
Okay. So how do you typically approach the assessment and diagnosis of a mental health condition, like when you have a client come in?
So one of the main things that I'll ask is if how long have they been struggling with this behavior or noticed this behavior? Have they ever seen anybody in the past for mental health issues or concerns? Have they been diagnosed by anybody? Have anybody, maybe even school, parents, peers, suggested that they should talk to somebody a while back, or maybe they felt like it? And well, most of the time the answers to that will be no. Then so
Yeah.
I have therapists and psychiatrists available that they can actually schedule with if they feel like that's something that they want. And then two, if I feel like it's necessary, I'll encourage them to do that as well.
Okay. So how do you tailor your treatment plans to meet the specific needs of your clients or individuals?
Listening.
Listening.
Listening, and it's not a cookie cutter treatment plan. So listening and figuring out what that individual is seeking. What
Mhm.
do they need at this in particular moment? That's really important in coaching because yeah, you have all these things going on, but what are you coming to me for? What are we going to address today to help you live a better life?
Okay. Let's talk about the taboo in the Black community about mental health. So let's let's address that issue right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So would you have any pointers for anybody that may be going through something that not ready to come forward or scared to come forward?
Yes, especially for those of us that come from the Black community, unfortunately, we are, and some people are going to fight with this, but I don't really care. But we are pretty exposed to experiencing mental health difficulties. And so it's really important for us to get out there and get those mental wellness tools. And why do I say that? Because of our lineage. Think about it, we come from slaves. A
Mhm.
lot of this stuff is carried down. We know that now, and we're trying to break the cycle. We don't want to continue to pass it on down to our children and our children's children. We're hoping that it will get better, over the years to come. But with us knowing that, and then still some of the struggles that we struggle with today. One of the books that I was reading is called Shifting, and I did a live on it recently. But it was talking about just specifically the amount of shifting that a Black woman does, and it's based off of a thesis done by PhD students. And so just our normal everyday life, nobody that really endured anything, out of the ordinary, no extra trauma, just a normal trauma. And
Mhm.
so it was very interesting, and I would encourage people to read that. But it was very interesting just to look at that alone. But just having black skin, and then on top of that being a black female, you're up against a lot of things that are going to weigh on your psyche. Like it is not normal, the things
Mhm.
that we endure, no matter what people tell you. And we're not meant to be supermen or superwomen. And we need to put that down because it's not our burden to carry, and start taking care of self. That's what self care is all about. It's nice when we get our nails done, feet done, but it's so much more than that. And taking these lavish vacations, but it starts on the inside. We need to start
Yes.
taking better care of ourselves, and instead of us looking down at it or feeling like there's something wrong with somebody when they're broken, I encourage people to recognize when they're broken, because that's gonna keep you from burning out or ending up in the psych ward, if we can prevent that.
Mhm.
But it's nothing to be ashamed of. And I just encourage you to get in and get the tools early on so that we can address this ahead of time.
Okay. So what are some of the, I said that before, I think what some of the signs that indicates, I think I said that there needs to be professional mental health support. Like if somebody's suffering with some kind of mental crisis, how does someone distinguish, I mean, tell that that's what's going on at that time and able to get them some help?
Okay, the number one thing that we're really focusing on is everywhere is if you notice that the individual are doing things or saying things or insinuating things that are going to harm themselves or anyone else, you're always going to seek medical attention, whether you understand it or not. Better be safe than sorry. The individuals that work the 365 24/7 hotline, they want you to call. We want to get ahead of those things. But if you're noticing behavior that is going to be detrimental to their health or someone else, then ask the questions. The most important thing is asking them, are you thinking about hurting yourself? Are you thinking about hurting someone else? Um, have you tried to kill yourself? You saying that is not going to put the seed in their head for them to go and do that. That is one of the number one stigma that we need to get away from. You bringing it
Yeah,
up is not going to make them go and do it.
yeah.
So just kind of be leery of that. And if they're acting outside of their character, are they doing things that they wouldn't normally do? Are they withdrawing from people? The early signs like that. Are they doing risque behavior, like spending all their money, giving away things? There's a whole bunch of signs, and you can find all of those on some of the websites. I can't think off the top of my head right now,
Mm,
but some of the government websites, and they will tell you they're not probably type in 988 and it'll bring up the suicide hotline. But if we nail those down and just get away from the stigma of being afraid from asking someone that, and a lot of times maybe they're not. But you asking that may prompt a conversation that needs to happen because it'll make if you ask me that, I'd be like, well, what's making them think that? Why are they asking me that? Make
mm,
me think a little bit deeper, and I might not realize that I'm in a dark place or acting risque and need to go speak with someone. So we just need to really get comfortable asking those questions, and I guess that's one area I can start focusing on is how to have those difficult conversations.
yeah, okay. So what is some advice that you give to the people that's taking care of someone with a mental health crisis? And you have any advice for them besides asking the questions? Anything? Do they immediately call for the helpline, or do they try to, bring them down? I mean, what kind of steps could they take?
Yeah, so just asking the questions, and if the answer is yes, making the call.
Mm,
If the answer is not yes, and there's some things that you feel like yeah, we do need to speak with someone, we do need to get attention on this thing, and encouraging them to take ownership of that and actually do it if they're in the mental space to be able to. If you're having any other questions, you can reach out yourself and ask for assistance with that because those situations are going to be client centered. There's not no broad spectrum for me to just say these are the things that you
mm-hmm.
need to watch for. These are what you need to do.
Yeah, okay.
The only one we can narrow down is kind of like suicidal, homicidal behavior. But you can pick up the phone and call like local you are if you don't know anyone else, or call 988
Mm-hmm.
or text them because they're also there for that to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in a hope of getting that individual to speak with someone. Maybe having conversations like, if you feel like they're headed down that path, reassuring them and letting them know that it's okay, that there's help out there, that you love them, that you're there for them, um, you know, and then preparing yourself for what that individual may say. Make sure that you're ready, for that so that you can be supportive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I done heard people say, well, I don't want them picking my brain. So it's not really about that. So it's like
No.
they're there to help you, not to just pick your brain. So you ever
Yeah,
heard of
and
that?
yes, that's a common thing. That's a common complaint that I get. A lot of the individuals that sit on my couch and on the other side of the screen, they come talk to me because they're not ready to talk to a therapist yet. And that's
Mhm.
the whole goal in the outreach that I do, is to get you ready if you're not ready to go speak with those individuals. Because truth be told, we all need one.
Mhm.
And those of you that are maybe speaking with them and you're like, I'm just not seeing the results. Like that's how I was.
Mhm.
I just wasn't seeing the results that I wanted and needed to see. I wanted more. So that's what made me sign up with a coach to help me to get back to the person that I wanted to be.
Mhm.
Uh, and along that path, I had to understand that the person that I used to be, that person was gone. I was no longer that person.
Mhm.
But getting me closer to who I wanted to be, to where I felt like I was living and not just merely existing. And so I tell people all the time, sometimes it's intimidating because the people that will come talk to me have more letters behind their name than I have my whole name, but they understand
Mhm.
and they're not quite ready for that conversation. And I hear that over and over again. And that's the stigma there, to think that they're not ready for them to pick my brain. One thing I want to tell people is that even when you do go and speak to that therapist, because that's their job to go deeper,
Mhm.
you're still in control. If it's a good therapist, you're still in control. When you get to that point to where you're like, okay, I'm not ready for that, or I don't want to talk about that today, they'll respect that and back off because
Mhm.
you're in the driver's seat. This is your recovery and it's ongoing.
Mhm. Okay. So just explain to us about what your part in it as on the mental health. I know it's mental health. You said it's mental health month. Is that right?
Mental health minority month,
Mo-
awareness
uh,
month.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So explain to us what makes this different. Is just for a minority. That's what it is.
Yes, so this month we just specifically do a little bit more to get the outreach out there for minorities, because like we
Mhm.
said, we know everybody's facing stigma, but even more so in the Black and Brown community. We have been raised to, kind of be shamed of that type of behavior, like made to feel like there's something wrong with us, and it's not. So
Mhm.
we're trying to come out of that and just promote awareness and be there for one another and encourage you to speak up, speak out, and allow somebody to help you.
Okay. So, I know you said you send people to therapy if they need further assistance. So, what is your part in the mental health? What all
So
you do?
coaching is getting you to a when we meet mental health coaches and is getting you to where you want to be as far as that arena. I work before therapy, I work in between therapy. I work before the psychiatrist, I work in between psychiatrists. So my job is to close the gaps. My job is to implement the things that they told you to do. My job is to help you get a better understanding. So my job is the hand holding part.
Okay.
So that's how we work together. I am the warm handoff, as you can say.
Mhm.
There are things that people will share with me that they will never share with someone else because they don't feel judged, and because I'm not the said therapist, they don't feel like, hey, if I tell her this, they're gonna lock me up.
Yeah.
Which is that's not the way that it works anyway.
Yeah.
But there's more freedom here,
Mhm.
and that's not abnormal for me because I'm a nurse as well. And a lot of the things that the patients will tell me before they go in and speak with the doctor or come out, that's what got me started on this path. Is they'll tell the nurse a whole bunch of stuff. Then you get in there and go talk to the doctor and won't tell him any of the stuff he told me. And then there's a disconnect. So
Yeah.
what the patients don't realize is if you're working with a good team, we meet before and after to piece it together. Good professionals know this, and so they're going to call on each other to get the to what we call team, so that we can provide you with the best possible outcome. And I noticed that I was like, wait a minute, they don't understand nothing that you told them to do.
Mhm.
You keep or the doctor will be like, I don't understand why she won't do this. We keep going over this over and over and over again. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let me try this. And then I
Yeah.
ask the patient, why y'all keep going round and round? Just, and there's some things that I can say that they can't,
Mhm.
just say it bluntly.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't know how to say it like that. But in bluntly, but in a respectful way.
What? Yeah.
And oh, So I'm like, I don't know. I just somewhat of a gift, able to bridge that gap. And that's really what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you have any like final words or anything you want to tell the people, the audience?
Yes. One thing is that do not be afraid of mental wellness and mental health. The more you know, the more you can do, the better prepared you can be for yourself and or the next person, because you never know when you're going to be put in a situation to where you are that next individual's lifeline. So I just encourage us all to indulge ourselves and never be afraid to ask a question. That's how it
Yes.
all starts. Nobody knows everything. We don't know, we'll find out, get you with someone who can. And most importantly, for those of you, congratulations, but for those of you who have stepped out on faith and actually scheduled those appointments and you're not feeling having a good fit with your therapist or your doctor, you need to find another one. A good one will tell you that, because if you don't trust them, if y'all can have a relationship, then you're not going to get the healing and recovery that you're desiring. Same thing with me. We know straight off top, we're not a good fit. I'm going to decline. Be like, we can't work together. But
Okay.
nothing personal, because at the end of the day, it's not about me, it's about you.
Okay. So if someone wanted to hire you, so how do they contact you?
So they can follow me on Instagram, it's simply Coach MT, and or on Facebook, it's simply Coach MT, and that will provide you with all the access to all the links and reels that you need to learn more about me and possibly schedule that consultation. Or
Okay.
you can always call our office at 409-206-0302.
Okay. So I thank you for coming on. You gave us a lot of information and I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you so much. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.